Welcome to Downshift, everyone. My name is Paulo, and we have been spending the week with Kia's #1 seller, the Sportage, or the Sportage, if you're an American. We have the hybrid here.
And you guys will know that this is my and my wife's Honda CRV hybrid, and this outsells that by a bunch. But we're gonna see if that's justified. So let's get into how these two compare. 3, 2, action.
All right, here we are, sitting down. Let's get into it.
In our chairs. Still don't have a chair sponsor. Unbelievable. Unbelievable as it is.
We need
no
one.
one has reached out to us and said, those chairs look bunk, let's give you some new chairs.
I don't even know who produces
They don't even
chairs.
rock. They don't have the piston, they don't have anything.
Yeah, we should get some from Costco. All right,
I want
powertrain.
Costco to want us, though. That's
Yeah,
the thing. I want to feel wanted.
They don't. We're like a tuna sample to them. And we are going to start where we always do. And
Say it like you're excited to start where we always do.
I am very excited.
The engine.
The engine and powertrain.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I will mention figures of the Sportage or Sportage, depending on where you're from in the world.
Okay, go ahead.
So we have a 1.6 turbo hybrid.
Yeah, versus the 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder here, but also, of course, hybrid. But this is Honda's unique 2-motor hybrid system, which I'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah, and here you have the 1.5 kilowatt battery.
Yeah, it's a little bit smaller in the Honda.
227 horsepower here.
Yeah, versus 204 in Hondas, but it's calculated a little bit different than usual. So, but this definitely feels more powerful.
Agreed. Yeah. I think last thing I'll just mention here is 450 miles on a full tank of gas, which is pretty impressive in the Sportage.
Yeah, you're not getting that here, and that's largely down to real-world
Tank
fuel
size.
economy and tank size. Yeah, this is a smaller tank, so if you do a bunch of highway, like my wife, you're still filling up a bunch.
And then you also have a 6-speed here, and then 0 to 60 in 7.4 seconds.
Yeah, versus a CVT here. Let's talk about fuel economy.
Okay.
You want to start with the Sportage?
Yeah, so combined 38 mpg on the Lakeshore Loop. Matt experienced 38.7, so pretty accurate. In the front-wheel drive version, allegedly you get 43.
Yeah, and that was at about 50 degrees ambient temperature. I ran the same Lakeshore Loop fuel economy test that we always do in the Honda, but it was under freezing temperatures, and we got 36.3, so a little bit worse than we did in the Sportage. Now again, that could be down to ambient temperatures. We should run it again in the spring as it gets warmer here. But the thing that really stands out to me with the hybrid systems here is this Kia system works a little bit closer to like what you'd see in like a Toyota hybrid system, where there's the engine, electric motor hybrid system, and then, you know, transmission. So this Honda system is a little bit different. It's almost, and we're going to bastardize this a little bit for the sake of the video and just oversimplify it, but it's almost like an EV, but instead of being fed by a big battery, it's fed by the gas engine. So the gas engine comes on, charges that like 1.1 kilowatt hour battery, and then sends power to the front electric motors in lower speed conditions. It'll also send power to all-wheel drive, where we have here on our Sport Touring trim, but again, that's a different thing. But the truth is, this just ends up being a little bit less efficient on the road, and you also have to drive in certain ways. And the ways that I figured you have to drive in the Kia is actually more similar to the Honda than in the RAV4, which we talked about earlier. The Honda, what you have to do to get the best fuel economy, like around the side streets, is if you're on a side street and you want to go 30 miles an hour, you accelerate to 35 or 33, and then you take your foot off the throttle, coast for a little bit, then the car is thinking, okay, I'll throw myself in EV mode, and then as you get to 30, you catch it with the throttle. Versus if you slowly ramp up to about 30 miles an hour, or like normal driving, it's not, for whatever reason, going to put itself in EV mode.
It takes a little bit longer to engage.
It's not going to put itself in EV mode as readily, because it's thinking you're still going to demand more torque and more power. And it does that a lot in the Kia as well. I found myself having an easier time getting into EV mode if I accelerated faster than I wanted to go, and then coast, let itself put it into EV mode, and then kind of, you know, modulate from there, versus just kind of slowly creeping up to whatever your normal speed would be.
Yeah, I think it has to do with like, obviously in that case where you're accelerating a little bit faster, you're taking your foot off the gas for an extensive period of time, versus if you're just trying to build up to that 30, your foot is on the gas at a larger like rate of time, so
yeah.
Which that makes sense.
Yeah, and the other thing that I'll just say between these hybrid systems versus like the RAV4 is these systems feel a little bit more all or nothing, where if the gas engine's on, you're going to just kind of be getting around 24 mpg, versus in the RAV4, whether the gas engine's on or not, there's still electric power being fed in and kind of helping the engine along. That helps with that happens in the Kia as well, but it doesn't seem like it helps as much as the RAV4. So in the RAV4, you can still have the engine on and be getting 40, 50, 60 miles to the gallon, But in the Kia, if you still have the engine on, you're getting 30, maybe 40. So it just doesn't seem to quite help out as much as that Toyota hybrid system. So the Toyota is the most efficient in the real world, then the Hyundai Kia unit, and then the Honda from our testing, at least in the cold months.
Yeah, no, good
And that's
summary.
a lot about the hybrid system.
Yeah, no, but I think all good information. I guess just real quickly, let's just touch on which one we think sounds better. I think that the Sportage sounds better just because it has the 6-speed. The CVT's just.
I like this better.
You like that better? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like pure engine sound. It's a little bit higher pitched, but it sounds a little bit more pure. 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. I don't know. It's personal preference. It's more splitting hairs again.
Yeah.
This sounds okay, but there's a couple little like RPM ranges where it sounds a little ticky to me, and that just kind of gives me that feeling of like hollowness or like chintziness a little bit. I don't get that as much from the Honda.
Let's talk about powertrains. So Kia in the base trim is front wheel drive, and for $1,800 you can get all-wheel drive. Otherwise, I believe it's standard in the trims above the base trim.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is in the Honda too. You can get front wheel drive. The Sport Touring, the top trim that we have here, that comes standard as all-wheel drive. But I think it's $1,500 for the Honda to go all-wheel drive.
Yep.
So you can get it. If you want the most efficient one, go front wheel drive.
Driving experience.
Yeah, I think I touched on this a little bit as I was discussing how the hybrid systems work, but I think just blanket statement, my opinion, this Honda is the best driving in the class. I like the steering the best, I like the damping the best, I like the braking the best. It just, the way that the hybrid comes in, since it is just basically electric motors, there's not much of a torque difference when the engine kicks in for the CVT to have to manage. So it is an incredibly smooth, quiet, refined experience. This is turbocharged with a 6-speed automatic and like a mechanical, so there's like more old school and like clunky things happening with the Kia, but that being said, that also drives really, really well.
Yeah.
So what did you think driving the Kia?
I mean, I think my overall thought though is that they're very similar, and I think again, we're splitting hairs here. I think for the average day consumer, they might not even really notice a difference. I do agree though that the CRV and the Mazda probably drive the best in the class for me. In the CRV, you have like a better like steering input. The car definitely feels more settled. All the things that you mentioned. With the Sportage, it's got a really light steering, which some might prefer that. Over certain bumps, it feels a little bit unsettled. So I definitely would agree that the CRV overall has a better driving experience. Honestly though, to the everyday consumer, marginally better. They might prefer the lighter steering that the Sportage has as well.
Yeah.
Sportage.
Yeah, our job is to find the little nuances and differences between cars, so we can see that, but your average person that's shopping for one of these, especially if you're not going to back-to-back them, if you just drive the Kia and like maybe the Toyota, you're going to be like, oh yeah, these both drive pretty similar and pretty well. It's going to be light steering, comfortable suspension, it's going to be easy to drive.
Last thing I'll say with the driving experience is both have pretty firm seats. We just did the Sportage versus the RAV4, and the RAV4 has extremely soft seats, so
really cushy padding.
Just something to note, both pretty firm seats here.
Yeah.
Styling.
I love this look.
So do I.
I think this is the best looking in the class, even more so than the Mazda. I mean, we're talking about hybrids. I think the CX-5, once that comes out with a hybrid, will probably be the best looking. I just don't like the wheel cladding on the CX-50, but I think this looks the best. It looks clean, it looks pretty aggressive. I love this Canyon Blue River like metallic paint. It's got really like fine metal flake in the paint, especially as it gets hit with direct sunlight. Yeah. The black accents with the wheels and the wing mirrors and the grille. I like the silver tusks up front, so it gives a little bit of contrast. And then the taillights are kind of like a modern interpretation on the classic CRV taillight. So I think it looks good. This Sportage looks a little bit more polarizing.
Yeah, it is. I think they went for a more modern, bold, futuristic design.
Bold for sure.
And I will say that they're doing a refresh next year, and I think that looks really good. So if you don't necessarily love the look of this, I'd suggest looking at photos and and maybe wait and see one in person, because I think the mid-cycle refresh is going to look really, really good. But yeah. I honestly don't hate this. I like the matte that we have here. But yeah, to Matt's point, it is very polarizing to some from an exterior standpoint.
Yeah, some people, like my wife, this is parked in my driveway for a few days, and my wife's like, that looks good. So like people do like it. It's just, it's the squinty kind of like insect face, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think this looks more classically elegant, but there's stuff to be said about this. I like the black accents and the matte paint, and like it's interesting. It's just not my personal taste.
LEDs all the way around. It doesn't offend me at all. I agree though. Like, I like the CRV a bit more, but honestly, like, you probably don't care that much how, like, they all look okay in the class.
Yeah.
You're probably not picking one of these just solely based on looks, is I guess how I'd wrap it up.
My point is, I would wait until next year to get that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree too.
It's
going to look really good.
Yep. Trunk. Talk to me about cargo space.
Yeah, so the Kia only has a powered, no close and lock.
Oh yeah, the button. Same thing with the Honda.
Yes,
so it's just, there's no specific button to press it, and then you can walk away and it's going to lock itself when it closes.
39.5 cubic feet.
Versus 39 in this, so half a cubic foot. They're big trunks though. Both are class leading.
Hey, do you have a spare tire?
I do not have a spare tire. That's the big L for the CRV hybrid. Yep. No spare tire.
74 cubic feet with the seats down, which is actually smaller than the CRV.
This must be the biggest in the class then, because 77 cubic feet with the seats down in the CRV. It's a huge trunk.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what Honda did, but they do trunk space really well.
Right.
It's just big, swallows everything up. I would like some underfloor storage. I've got like jumper cables, and they have to like hang off of a grocery bag hanger on the side, and then that hanger doesn't have like super deep grabs, like so it just kind of like sometimes falls in the middle of the trunk. But no, it's a big trunk. Both of them are really.
Right.
So I mean, I might give the point to the Sportage because it has a spare tire though.
Yeah, I agree. Next up is towing. So 2,000 pounds for Kia and 1,000 pounds for the Honda. So together they couldn't even tow your family's boat.
Nope. Next point.
Yeah. Okay, rear seats. So I think both cars really have decent sized rear seats.
Yeah.
Really good leg room, good headroom for us. Really no complaints. I feel like they're very similar. In the Kia, no heated seats though. Good recline, I'd say. No rear shades. You have vents, hangers, pockets, and a nice panel roof. Yeah,
there's more stuff going on in the back of the Sportage versus the CRV. The CRV's like, it's a black leather interior. You get some orange stitching. You don't get a panel roof. You don't get window shades. You don't get heated rear seats, and like, the shades is not something that you really get on really anything in this class for the most part, but you can get heated rear seats in the Tucson and the RAV4 and maybe this depending on a package. So there's just a little bit less going on in the back of the CRV, but space-wise, like I'm 6'1", you're 6'7", like we both fit in the back pretty well.
Yeah.
I should stop making that joke because people are going to think you're 6'7".
I know.
You're like 6'2", right?
Yeah, I'm definitely not 6'7".
Yeah, but like adults can fit in the back of either of these, which is the point.
Very
but I do like the panel roof there, especially because with this color, with this exterior color, you can only get the black interior, so it can tend to feel a little bit cramped. It would be nice to have a panel roof, bringing in a little bit more light, making it feel a little bit more spacious.
Yeah, agreed.
So
next up is cabin experience.
This one was kind of tough actually, because like it's tough and it's not. Because there's something about the interior of the CRV that I just kind of like. The ergonomics makes sense. It feels like it's pretty well put together. Most of the materials are pretty decent, but like this is certainly more modern.
Yeah.
You've got a carmine red interior, which is like unique to this trim in this class. So like it's more special. It definitely feels more modern and better appointed in the Kia. Yeah,
I was gonna say the CRV just seems a bit dated. I agree with you. The materials, the fit and finish, definitely seem a lot better in the CRV to me. In the Sportage, like the center console creaks a little bit, it moves around a little bit, but it's got really nice ambient lighting. I think it actually has really good ergonomics, and it definitely feels a lot more modern inside.
Yeah, so you get physical buttons for like your heated and cooled seat.
Yep.
But yeah, like the whole center console is like gloss black and it's already scratched up, and this press car is like under 10,000 miles old.
Yeah.
Yeah, scratchy, kind of shaky center console.
People don't like the UX UI of the switching between media and climate controls.
Sure don't.
I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I guess
I'm sure you get used to it.
Personally, I think like in terms of longevity of interior buttons and that sort of thing, I'd probably have to give the point to the CRV, but in terms of honestly experience, I definitely prefer the Sportage, just like the ambient lighting, just the way it looks, sleek, cooled modern
seats,
design.
No cooled seats.
Yeah, which I think gets into, we could talk about that here. Yeah, cooled seats here, you don't have it there, which I think too many is a pretty big selling, at least to me. Like I don't think I'd go back. I've had several cars now. It's hard to buy one that doesn't have that feature. Anything else on cabin experience?
No, I mean, both are good for different reasons, and I don't think you're going to make a bad choice. If you want more stuff, then the Kia is going to be better. If you care about that little last tenth of like build quality and like refinement, I think maybe the Honda has it, but it's not like the Kia interior is bad, so I think both get points.
Yeah. Okay, so tech. In the Kia, you have a fully digital gauge cluster and also a...
Don't have it in the Honda.
Fully digital infotainment tech. I think they're both 12.2, 12.3 inches.
9 inch.
9 inch, yeah.
But wireless CarPlay.
Yeah, wired here, and the other thing that stinks about that is it's USB, not even USB-C.
Yeah, so it's just an old system. I'm sure that'll get updated with the facelift.
Yeah, it does. I saw some photos. 360 camera here, very good quality. 360 cameras here.
Reverse camera here, and it's mid quality. So not impressive.
We don't have it, but you can get an auto dimming rear mirror. We don't have it in our
can't get it on the CRV
fleet vehicle here. But again, yeah, I think you have really good tech features here. Really good bang for your buck, I'd say, in terms of what you get from a tech perspective.
Ambient light, no ambient light.
Just more features here on the Sportage.
This is kind of the Honda thing. In every CRV video, it sucks because every CRV video I've done since this generation's come out, since like 2023, has been like, all right, here's a list of the things that the CRV doesn't have. You can't get a fully digital cluster. You don't get a head-up display. You don't get, the 360 camera. Like, it's a bummer. It's a bummer.
Do you know what is the what sound system do you have in there?
It's a Bose.
Oh, it is a Bose. Okay.
It's like one of the first Hondas to get like a branded audio system.
That's
I think the
good.
Civic technically was, but this was right behind it.
This has a Harman card. I haven't really turned up the volume in your car to really know how it compares, but
it's fine.
I'd probably
it's better than the JBL and the RAV4.
Yeah, that probably is the worst, honestly. Okay.
So tech clearly goes to the Kia.
Yeah, agree. Safety suite. Want to touch on that?
Yeah, I think this is going to go to the Kia, not quite as definitively as the overall tech, but like here in the CRV, you do have an adaptive cruise, you do have a lane keep assist. It works fairly well. It works better in conditions like this where it's a sunny day, it's dry. It can just read the lane lines a little bit better. It's not going to change lanes for you. It's not going to watch your eyeballs. Neither is the Kia's system. It's not going to watch your eyeballs or change lanes for you, but that system works really well. That HDA or HDAS system from Hyundai Kia works really well. It's one of my favorite systems. You can leave your hands off of it for like up to 60 seconds, and it keeps you bang on centered in your lane.
Well, and honestly, you don't even like need some cars you need to have a certain weight against the steering wheel to make it know your hands are there. You can just hold on to it, and I think
it's like
I don't know if
haptic
it's like,
or whatever.
But I agree. I think that the Kia takes the point here. I think it has better driving assist features.
For sure. The Honda's good enough to be helpful, but the Kia is just that little bit better.
Yeah, and then I also think like the safety exit assist this thing has, and then the reverse auto braking, which is really nice. It's just some features that the CRV does not have.
Yeah. Talk to me about price.
Okay, I'll talk to you about it.
Tell me about it, Bill.
So the Kia starts at $29K, and the Honda starts
$5,000 more.
Yeah.
Still front wheel drive.
Yep. And the Kia tops out at $38K, Honda tops out at just over $41,000.
And just so you know, at 41, this is the Sport Touring, so that's what the money would be for this trim. $41,000 is more than where the plug-in hybrid version of this Kia Sportage starts. The plug-in hybrid of the Sportage starts at $40,000.
Yeah, $40K.
And then you get 34 miles of fully electric range, and then it's still a nice hybrid after that.
Yeah.
So the Hondas are never usually like the value compared to like the Toyota or especially the Hyundai Kias. The Hyundai Kias and the Kias specifically have always been about value. We're going to give you the most stuff. We're going to wrap it in a pretty nice looking package, and we're going to charge you the least money.
Yep.
And I don't know why they don't sell more.
Well, I mean, it is gaining traction, and it is also Kia's #1 selling vehicle.
I bet you I know why it'll sell more next year.
Because of the
won't
refresh.
Look like that.
Yeah. Warranties real quick, and then we can kind of just wrap up our thoughts and what we would get. But the Kia comes with a 5-year 60,000 mile bumper to bumper and a 10-year 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. CRV is a 3-year 36,000 mile bumper to bumper and a 5-year 60K powertrain. So definitely, I think the best in the segment in terms of warranties that you get with Kia and Hyundais. They're still sticking to it because I think they're trying to obviously attract more buyers
Yeah,
to their
this
vehicles.
is, if you spend any time on the internet, all of the comments under Kia and Hyundai videos are the word junk. And it's like, those people have not been in a Hyundai or Kia in the last 10 years, certainly not the last 5 years. They're good cars.
Yeah.
Like, we just went through all of these points, and the Kia won or was competitive in most of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think to summarize the Kia to me is it's just a really good value proposition. I think there are question marks though around like the long-term reliability and the longevity of some of the interior materials that they have. I think that's just something to keep in mind. I think the CRV, you're definitely going to get a lot more reliability from it. It's a better driving experience.
It is certainly, that's really the thing that
expensive.
sticks out to me. Yeah, I mean, most of these things are pretty similar, but the things that stick out to me is this is certainly better to drive, and it is certainly more expensive.
Yeah.
Those are really the biggest things. So if driving experience is important to you,
Check out
you
that.
can check out
or
the Honda,
Mazda.
but you are going to forego certain features. 360 camera, panoramic roof, that sort of
cooled
thing.
seats,
Cooled seats.
spare tire.
Yeah. So yeah, you're getting all that stuff here in the Kia, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Plus you got the warranty to keep your mind at ease.
So let us know which one you guys will get in the comments, or if you've already made your pick, let us know in the comments why. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. We'll see ya. Bye.